WWE Clash at the Castle 2022 is in the books, and in this video, I'm going to rank them every match from worst to absolute best. Let's do this. Hey guys and girls, come on in. It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe. WWE Clash at the Castle 2022 just wrapped up a few moments ago, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this show. This was a lot of fun. I'd say if you had 3 hours to kill, make sure you go check out the show start to finish. Even though I'm about to rank these matches, there was nothing bad on this show. Everything delivered. They even snuck in a little bit of a kickoff match for us, which I thought was great. Gives you a little incentive to actually watch the kickoff show, and I thought got the crowd really amped up. I'm a big free-for-all guy from the 90s, so it was great to see the kickoff matches return after taking some time away. So with the rankings here on this show, first off, I think the show is going to be remembered more so than any of the matches just for the atmosphere. This crowd was so excited about this. You could tell the UK had been asking for a big pay-per-view from WWE for a long time, and I think they over-delivered. They were just so into everything. Everyone got a huge response. Booyaka Booyaka came on, and the place just erupted. They were amped for everything, and it was just so great to see so much energy and so many passionate wrestling fans finally get something that probably should have happened a few years ago. And I think at the end of the day, really delivered, and I hope that the UK continues to get these shows. And I love this. I mean, look, it's still light outside, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with having a WWE pay-per-view that starts, or premium live event that starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So really strong stuff. As for these rankings, I'm going to rank the matches from the matches really that I enjoyed the most, from least favorite, I guess, to most favorite. But again, there's nothing on this show that was bad. A couple things I'm adding into what determines these rankings, aside from just what I enjoyed most, is what matches I think if they had some historical significance. I think if they had kind of that big fight feel, that's going to kind of help the matches out a little bit. And I'll explain that as we get into it. But this is my rankings for the show, starting off with that aforementioned kickoff show match. It was a kickoff show match, but it was solid. Austin Theory teaming up with Alpha Academy, falling short to the Street Profits and Madcap Moss. I thought the match was solid. It was good to have Austin Theory on the show to establish that he was there. I think that kind of helps out and kind of lets people know, Money in the Bank is in play. So it was good to see that. Madcap Moss, I'm happy they're continuing to use him. I was worried that his new look is so generic ever since he lost the suspenders. He's just like a dude with bland sort of black tights and long hair, and I was worried he'd kind of get lost in the shuffle, but they continue to showcase him, and I think that's great. I think he's got a lot to offer. So this was a solid match. I don't love that the Alpha Academy took the loss, but that being said, it is what it is. That falls at number 7 here on my rankings. Number 6, I'm going to actually go with the opening contest. So this match was really good. It was Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, and Bayley taking on Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. Crowd was really into this one. They actually brought back the old school Bayley chant from NXT, which I got a kick out of. And they were just ready to go and just really give these ladies the respect that they deserve for their match. I thought everyone worked really hard. It was great to see Io Shirai and Asuka in there, and actually had Michael Cole harkening back to their days before WWE, showing that he's got a little knowledge that expands outside of the WWE bubble, which I thought was great. This was a solid match. At the end of the day, I was happy that Team Bayley got the win, which I had predicted on my prediction show, because I think that it really helps to establish them as a force, and now Bianca Belair has some challengers to kind of look forward to in terms of where she's going next. So really strong stuff, and that kind of falls here at number 6 on my countdown. Number 5 on the countdown, another match I absolutely loved, Seth Rollins against Riddle. One thing that kind of immediately kind of puzzled me a bit is Riddle was talking about how much he hates Seth Rollins. Seth said this deeply personal, horrible things to Matt Riddle, and yet Riddle still came out, bro, on the scooter, happy as a clam. I would have loved if this time he kind of cut that crap and just ran in there and he was ready to go and ready to get at Rollins. Rollins gets the win, no issue there. He's coming across as a completely just disdainable heel at this point. But the guy's also put over everyone for the last 2 years, and so it's good to see him get back into the win column and do so, unfortunately at the expense of Riddle. But it was a good story here that they told, that Riddle's emotions got the best of him, and in doing so, kind of led to him getting a little overzealous, and Seth Rollins in turn took advantage of this and got the win. So solid stuff. I hope we get more from these guys. This was a great match. Next match on the show in terms of my rankings is going to be Liv Morgan against Shayna Baszler. I know some folks probably are not going to agree with me, and they're going to say this match was probably below the other two, but I really liked the story that this match told. I thought that you kind of got a sense for what Shayna Baszler was doing in terms of, you kind of had NXT Shayna back. You kind of had her just taking over the match, and they told a really good story of Liv Morgan being able to institute a lot of the knowledge that she got training with Riddle that they showed during those vignettes. She actually utilized a lot of those techniques that he showed her in a match with Shayna, and normally Shayna would be able to get the upper hand because obviously she's much more experienced in grappling. So at the end of the day, Liv did rise to the occasion. She beat her clean. One thing I hated about this match, and they have to stop doing, is the insufferable, she's just living her dream. I don't know how Liv Morgan was able to win that match. What the heck? Liv Morgan went straight up with Shayna Baszler and straight up beat her. I personally would have loved to see Shayna get the belt, but I thought the way this match went actually solidified Liv Morgan as a legit champion. The announcers just were not telling that story. They were going on and on and on about living the dream. It was completely ridiculous. So with that being said, love the match. Absolutely thought it was great. But for me, the part that was a little bit difficult here for me was the announcers. I don't think they kind of did Liv any favors. Enough of the living the dream. She's the champion. Let's treat her as such. In any event, good match. Great to see Shayna return to form. This was the Shayna Baszler we should have got on the main roster. Love the story of Shayna continuing to one-up Liv until Liv finally got away from the grappling and was able to beat her with her signature moves. Really strong stuff. Next up, and I gotta be honest, top 3 matches here for me, I absolutely love. If you have a few minutes, go check out these 3 matches. These are the 3 that I absolutely recommend, starting with number 3 for me, and it was very close. Rey Mysterio and Edge taking on the Judgment Day. This match I loved. I have to be honest, I know that I came on to my predictions earlier. I said Judgment Day better win this match, and I get it, but the story they told here was really great. First off, it starts with Rey Mysterio coming out to an ovation and a pop like you wouldn't believe. You forget that, like, this stadium crowd probably has not had the opportunity to see Rey Mysterio live. So that booyaka booyaka hit, and Rey Mysterio comes out to just this massive ovation, and then that's topped by the ovation that Edge got. And Edge is amped up. He's running up and down all over the place, making sure he can say hi to as many fans as he possibly can. He's wearing the Rey Mysterio mask. The crowd is screaming the lyrics to Metalingus. They're going nuts. They're having just a ball with that. I thought that really added a lot of excitement to this, both these guys' entrances. And I thought that all 4 guys were just on fire. Finn Balor looked incredible in this match. He was just so crisp in everything he does, like he usually is, but I thought even more so. His sling blade was, like, amazing. Edge pulled out a 619. Dominic ends up helping them win this match. But at the end of the match, and it's funny because I'm sitting on the couch, my wife is sitting here next to me, and we're watching the show, and I'm like, man, they're not giving Dom anything. Edge and Mysterio holding up their arms to huge adulation. Dominic's kind of standing off to the side, and it's like, this dude did everything he could. He's the reason you won the match, and they're not giving him anything. And then, of course, the big moment, Dominic Mysterio finally, 3 years in the making, turns on Edge and Rey Mysterio. A little bit of a kick to the nads on Edge. Rey is pleading with him to stop. He's beating up on Edge. Finally turns around, and he can't take any more. He lays out Edge with the clothesline. The weeks of frustration they've dealt had just been a really good job in telling this story with Dominic, where he felt like his father kept pushing him to the side. And then after the match, that's exactly what Rey was doing. The best heels are the ones that make the most sense. So at the end of the day, I love this. I thought this was really, really solid stuff. I don't know if it means that Dominic's going to be joining the Judgment Day, but Judgment Day is laughing hysterically as he finally turned. And Dominic goes ahead, rips off his shirt afterwards, walks out shirtless and all PO'd. I would have loved if he gave the Eddie Guerrero shimmy there, but he didn't. Instead, he looked a little conflicted. I thought this was awesome. A great moment at the end of a really, really strong match. And this match was just added at the last minute, so I'm glad that they had it because I thought it was great. Next up, ooh, this is tough. Like, when I say that there's a number 2 and a number 1, I really mean a number 1A and a 1, because these 2 matches were unbelievable. Went back and forth a whole bunch of times on this. My number 2 match is going to be Sheamus taking on Gunther. I do think this was a great match. I think that if they put this on last, they could have, especially with what the shenanigans in the main event. I think this would have been a solid way to end the show. But these guys just absolutely killed each other, totally destroyed each other's chests. You had the return of Giovanni Vinci. So Imperium reunited to start that. They came out. Brawl and Bruce got a huge ovation. At the end of the day, Sheamus comes up short, but I have no problem with that because they're still establishing Gunther as an unstoppable heel champion. They're building up that reign, so I have no issue with Gunther retaining. I thought he did a really good job and looked great in the process, and they continue to build that up. After the match, Sheamus gets a huge ovation. I'd say the likes of which were like, I hate to bring him up, but Chris Benoit, Royal Rumble 2003. Match ends, Sheamus is in the ring, crowd's giving him just the biggest ovation, huge standing ovation. And I thought this was great because I feel like Sheamus is so underappreciated, probably harkening back to him beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds at WrestleMania 28, that he's never gotten the love he deserves. But the guy's in there, he's killing himself with spinal stenosis, which I have, and it's brutal. And he goes out there and just gives 150% every single time. He's awesome. And at the end of the day, so is Gunther. Gunther retains probably the best Intercontinental Championship match in about 5 to 10 years. It was great. I can't put this over enough. It does fall a little short, though, to our main event, Drew McIntyre taking on Roman Reigns. I bet a lot of people are going to say that Gunther and Sheamus was number one. And if you do, I'm not going to hate on you for it. I don't think that there was a clear number one here. But I ended up going with Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. The crowd really made the difference in this one. Everybody was so into Drew McIntyre. Think about it. This guy went on a Alexa Express type tour, right? He did so many different media appearances. He was Mr. Cardiff all over the place. People were so into him. He was their guy. The entire place was packed to see Drew McIntyre win the title, and they were so into him. He brings back his old entrance theme with the whole, so say goodbye, with that whole deal. People were into, I know people have been clamoring for that, so they had that little entrance there. I thought he came across great. At the end of the day, Roman Reigns retains the title due to outside interference from Solo Sakai. Makes sense, right? At the end of the day, he exists. He's in NXT. He also is a member of the family, and you had to figure the character of Roman Reigns. This is a guy who in the main event of WrestleMania had the Usos interfere on his behalf. It makes sense that he had something up his sleeve with the Usos, Sami Zayn, and Paul Heyman not able to be there with him in Cardiff. So Solo Sakai is there, helps Roman Reigns to retain the championship, which I predicted actually a couple days ago on Twitter. I know a lot of you guys there following me at WatchAlongTommy. I said exactly that this would make sense for the Roman Reigns character, and that's exactly what happened. But there were a couple of times there where Drew hits that Claymore kick, and the place was just going crazy. They were ready to go erupt if Drew were to win the title, but he comes up a little short. The reign for Roman continues, and I was surprised. I was worried Cardiff was going to actually riot on this, but they didn't. Another top moment in the match for me, Austin Theory goes to cash in, and I've been very hard on Tyson Fury. I've not enjoyed his run in WWE at all when he's been there in the past. The whole deal with Braun Strowman I didn't think was very good, but this was an incredible moment. Austin Theory comes to go cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's about to do it. He runs to the outside to hand the briefcase to the timekeeper, and Tyson Fury, no way, jumps up, knocks him out with a big right hand, and it was awesome. It was great, and it was almost like he was like, no, you're not ruining this title match. Also, nothing from Karrion Kross and Scarlett. They were shown in the crowd, flown all the way there to Cardiff to just sit in the crowd. They didn't do anything. Tyson Fury is much more involved. After the match, Tyson Fury gets in the ring. He goes ahead and gives Roman a little bit of kudos, which was surprising. I thought he was going to challenge Roman, specifically with the show to Saudi Arabia coming up here in a couple months. That match makes sense. I really thought that's the direction they were going to go for that match, but instead, no, he gives him kudos, and then afterwards gets Drew McIntyre up, and the two of them sing a couple songs with the crowd. I thought this was a little lame, if I'm being honest. I thought that Drew should have felt left down, but I get it that you wanted to end on a happy note. And good for Drew to get such adulation from the crowd. He's obviously been the guy to carry the WWE through the pandemic era. Never really got a title win, and didn't get his title win in front of a crowd, was never champion in front of a crowd. So it was good that at least he got that huge moment to start the match, and then obviously left things off on a good note. I think you could have went with Drew here. I have no problem with Roman retaining the title. Reason being what I said on my prediction show. You don't have a guy hold the title for 2 years and then give it up immediately to somebody who's already an established former champion. You want to anoint the next guy. I personally think that guy's probably Cody Rhodes. I can't wait for that. I hope that happens at WrestleMania. Because I'm a Cody fan, maybe I'm a little biased that I'm not torn up about Drew not winning it. But again, this was awesome. Great match. Really, check this show out. This was so much fun. Clash at the Castle 2022 at the UK. You guys brought it. I hope you guys had fun if you were there. And really strong show. So that is my rankings. Let me know where I was wrong. Let me know where you disagree. And I will catch you guys again real soon on Watch Along Wrestling.